What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. Today's video we're going to be talking about the upcoming events for the rest of the week here, and we answer the question of where Packmaster Shaik is and the 5-star soul for the dog, which a lot of you guys are asking about. Initially I thought it was going to be a Titan event, probably for one or the other, but now we know it's not. Look at this Adventures Deck of Fate here guys, just a quick segue. Absolutely like zero participation in this. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have participated in this Deck of Fate. I just think it's a little bit of a stretch to ask people to spend that much energy for that stuff. And a quick note here, we have a spider tournament coming up for the Lizardmen faction. Now that's going to be a little bit difficult, I would say, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of teams and rewards are going to be used. Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's jump into this news bit here. So tomorrow, Thursday, August 14th, we have a progressive event to celebrate Lizard Day, which of course makes sense for that Spider faction only tournament. And we have a couple juicy champions up for grabs for this progressive event. Keep in mind that obviously with the normal rates here, you're not going to get any boosted rates to get any of these legendaries. But if you pull a legendary with the normal rates, you will have a progressive chance to hit any of these non-voids, which are about 7% chance. So 7% chance you'll land on one of these, so whichever one you choose. And then if you want to hit the voids, it's only 0.5% chance to hit a legendary from a void shard. But you know, if you hit the void and you select it on your progressive, you're looking at closer to 20%, around 18%. So voids, you know, a little bit nicer on progressives, but obviously their void shards are much more expensive, etc., etc. Let's take a quick look at some of these champions here. There's some really nice ones. Obviously, the main headliner for Lizardman is going to be Teox. I have Teox on my alt account. He's absolutely amazing. I have him 6-starred. I built him all the way up from 0 to 6, and he hits super hard. He's great in arena. He's great in siege. Like those lizard teams are just nasty with him. He's great in Hydra as well. Honestly, I use him even in like some dungeons. Fire Knight hard, for example. Shogun, he just hits super hard. His big thing is that his A1, he brings in the your teammate with the highest crit damage, and then they get a damage boost if the target has debuffs on them. But yeah, he's definitely one of the best champions here. He's going to be up for grabs tomorrow as part of this one-day event. Keep that in mind, guys. One-day event. And then we have Nekmothar. He's also extremely good, high-value champion for basically lots of areas in the game, mainly for Hydra, mainly for Chimera. Great champion. He's bringing the decreased speed, leech, increased speed, turn meter boost, and decrease attack. Also brings speed in all battles. Great champion overall. Up next, we have Karen the Harvester. Karen, here he is. You know what? I use this champion on a test server just to play with him, and honestly, he's pretty bad. I have no real reason to say that he is great, to be honest. He has this A3 here where he puts everybody to sleep, blah blah blah, right? It's a 4-turn cooldown, everyone to sleep, and then he gets an extra turn. Well, if you use this as his first ability, his next ability cannot be his A1 because it's an AoE, so you're gonna wake everybody up. So you have to use his A2 if this is not on cooldown. And it's a single target hit, and then you're going to lock that champion out. And then you're going to push back the turn meter of everybody by 15%. So, you know, it's a bit of a turn meter pushback. It's a single target lockout. That's if the A2 is not locked out. So it could be locked out or, you know, had been used randomly. And then you're forced to use the A1, which just wakes everybody up. It doesn't really make too much sense, like his kit, to be honest. If anything, this probably should have been maybe like a place. If it was like a place sleep on a 3-turn, maybe it would be like a little bit more useful. But if like an attack, or maybe if this was a single target attack, I'm not too sure. But his kit doesn't really make too much sense in the way you want to use it. And he can still weak hit and all that stuff too. And sleep is one of the worst crowd controls. So yeah, I personally can't find a super good use for him. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have been using him at all, or if you guys found any use for him. Up next, we have Python here, an old fusion from what is it, 3 years ago? Excellent fusion 3 years ago. He was super hyped up to be basically like a Force Affinity Duchess. He's not as good as Duchess. Duchess is a little bit more versatile, but Python's still really good. He's got a 3-turn cleanse here with the block debuffs and a heal, and then he's got team-wide revive with a strengthen. He also has a nice passive here that, you know, reduces a little bit of damage. Good base stats overall. Yeah, just a massive carry if you have this champion early in your account. as it's progressing on. Great champion in like many areas, dungeons, hydras, boss content, whatever, he can handle it. So he's gonna be up for grabs. And lastly, for the non-voids, we have Krokmar. Krokmar, I like this guy. I think his aesthetic is cool. I have him. Although he's a little bit underwhelming, to be honest. He's supposed to be a damage dealer, but he doesn't hit hard enough, to be honest. He can buff your team with 3 turns duration, which is a lot. So that's really good. He gets extra turn. And then he goes into this AoE attack where he has a little bit of a shield. And his A1, he gets an extra hit if it's critical. You have to be careful about the affinity. So you have to target somebody that's neutral or positive affinity. So it's a crit. But you build him up with crit, you build him up with crit damage, and then he can do a little bit of damage for waves. Occasionally I use Krokmar in like Cintranos waves, and I basically put like my Empress gear on him, and then he does kind of slap, but he doesn't have ignore defense or anything like that in his kit. He's HP based, so he doesn't get buffed up with buffs. But yeah, he's not going to be doing crazy amounts of damage. He has a passive here, which is pretty good against some bosses. So you either decrease attack or defense by 5%, or accuracy or resistance by 5%. Depending on which stat is highest, up to 30%. So it's a nice stat reduction against bosses. So you can make a case for him for like Hydra. I put him in like a hex set for Hydra. He can easily apply all of that with all his AoEs. He brings some buffs so you can boost up your team a little bit. But yeah, not a bad champion, but he's not insane or anything like that. And then we're gonna go to the Void champions here, and now we do actually have some pretty insane champions here. First up is Sulfurion. I use my Sulfurion a lot, mainly for Arena, but honestly, he's one of the best. I would say he's one of the best overall champions in the game, or one of. He's definitely really strong. He has a revive. He has a revive here. He has an AoE HP burn, so he can deal damage against like waves. He can deal damage against bosses. He also brings a shield. He also brings a turn meter boost. His passive allows the HP burns to heal up as well, and he has increased speed as well. And his A1 provides more turn meter boosting. His base stats not as crazy for a support champion because some of the stats are allocated into attack, unfortunately. Decent base speed at 109. So you can use him as a turn meter booster. That's kind of what I use him for in Arena. I use him as a turn meter booster. He also cuts through the stone skin. So he's one of my, my main stone skin breaking champions. You do need a little bit of a blessing on him, or you can use the Skull of Treason to boost his burn damage. So if you have the Skull of Treason, you don't necessarily need a super high blessing on your Sulfurion, but it does help. It does help a little bit. So Sulfurion is up for grabs as one of the Void options here. He's a great champion overall. After that, we have Fighty Tealcrest. Now, I love this champion. I playtested him. I thought he was super great. Obviously, you can use him in Arena. You can use him in boss content, Hydra, Chimera. His big move here, 4-turn cooldown, increased resistance, perfect veil on all allies, decreased cooldown of all active skills except this champion by 3 turns. So basically, you're resetting your whole team by 3 turns. The best thing about this ability is that it's on a 4-turn cooldown. So it's relatively short, so you can come back to it relatively quickly. Unfortunately, this ability cannot be reset, which is pretty normal, but they added a text here. The only exception, I think, is Yumiko, which actually says you can actually reset it, which is kind of weird, but yeah. His A1 brings a team-wide heal, a little bit of turn meter boosting as well. And then his A2 is actually also very powerful as well. It's an AoE attack. First, you strip, and then you place block buffs and decrease speed with the turn meter boost on a 3-turn cooldown. It's insane. It's one of the most insane 3-turn strip abilities. I would say Odin's is probably a little bit better because Odin can strip, decrease defense, and stun. But this is a strip, block buff, decrease speed, and turn meter boost. So it's pretty nice. I gotta say, so yeah, he's one of the better champions, at least recently released in terms of the non-mythical champions. Now, his weakest part is probably his aura, resistance in all battles. Much rather prefer accuracy in all battles, to be honest, or speed in all battles. That would have made him way stronger, but still a excellent champion. And last, for the Void champions, up for grabs, we have Mighty Krisk here. Krisk, one of the, OG super Swiss Army knife champions, useful in all areas. One of the best champions you could probably pull in the early game. But yeah, even into the late game, you can still kind of use this guy. He starts off with a big shield, so maybe if you want to not use a shield set on a champion for a Titus team, you can use Krisk shield. Brings provoke, increased speed, increased defense. Also has continuous heal, ally protection. decreased attack, decreased defense, and he has an A1 AoE decreased speed. Absolutely insane champion. He has everything you need to build a team around. He's basically a team, and then you just surround him with 5 dudes, and then that's it. But he is the team. He brings everything you need for Hydra. He brings a lot for Chimera as well. He does everything for Clan Boss. Yeah, any dungeon waves. Incredible champion. Definitely fallen off nowadays a little bit, but you know, if you have a limited roster, this guy is basically like 3 champions in one. He can do everything for you. So he's going to round up the voids. And like I said, guys, the Lizardman Day progressive event is only going to be 1 day only. It's only going to be 24 hours. Now, that is because we have this massive event coming, and this is going to be the big thing that everybody was looking for. And it's going to be this Friday, August 15th. We're planning to launch the Orc Path, where you will have a chance to get the legendary champion Packmaster Shaik and Kro Khad's Throat Ripper's 5-star soul. So finally, they announced what the event will be. So Kro Khad is the most recent fusion we just did. His 5-star soul will be up for grabs in this basically Heroes Path event, as well as Shaik the Packmaster, the fusion from last year. He will also be a prize in this Heroes Path event. Now, if my memory serves me well, verified by me referencing old events from the past, we have the old Podrick Heroes Path event where it was his champion and his soul up for grabs, as well as the most recent Valar the Lost Path that we just actually did maybe a couple weeks ago. We know that these events are going to be extremely, extremely expensive. So from those 2 examples that we had where we had the champion and the soul up for grabs, the champion and the soul each cost at least 20 sacred shards worth of points. Now, how do we get points in this Heroes Path, this Orcs Path? We will be able to get event points by getting artifacts and accessories, so that's dungeon diving, and summoning champions from shards. So guys, now we know exactly what we need to do. Shards and basically energy to farm gear. That's how you're going to be able to get the Packmaster, or you're going to get the 5-star soul. Now that's going to be a serious choice. It's not going to be much of a choice for people that have Shaik. So I did the fusion last year. I have him. So he's not going to be a choice for me. I'm not going to go for a dupe. But now it's a choice of his dogs, Kro Khad's 5-star soul. And you know what? 5-star soul on Kro Khad is going to be a lot of damage. He does apply debuffs, so you can give him Nature's Wrath and Hydra, and he's going to be, you know, ramped up, you know, quite a bit with the 5-star soul. You also get crit damage and plus attack. So it's definitely going to help him out. And I think, you know, it's going to cost you about 20 sacred shards worth of points for either the champion or the 5-star soul, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to, you know, bring down that total. If anything, they might actually raise that total just because of how critical Packmaster is to make Kro Khad really, really strong. Like, if you had a choice, if you only had, for example, 20 sacred shards and you can only pick one or the other, you can only pick one path, you would probably pick the Packmaster because there's no guarantee that you'll ever get Packmaster ever, and Packmaster highly elevates Kro Khad, you know, to new levels in Hydra. Whereas Kro Khad's soul, you can basically build him up over time. It's just going to take you a lot of time, a lot of resources, but you're going to eventually get him. So get the champion first. That would be my suggestion because it makes the combo work. And then the blessing is just kind of a luxury item that's just going to elevate your damage. You can live without it for now and then build upon it for the future. So that would be my suggestion. This is not going to be a cheap event, guys. It's going to be 20 sacreds each. That's 40 sacred shards. That's my guess. And, you know, based on the previous Heroes Path that featured a champion and their 5-star soul, that is the going price, 20 sacred shards each. Now, this one has dungeon diving points. It's going to be alleviated a little bit, but honestly, you're talking about tens of thousands of energy to, you know, make a dent, make you save some sacred shards. It's not going to be very easy or cheap to spend energy to basically replace the shard requirements for this event. Now, this is going to be happening throughout the weekend, starting on Friday. They will be announcing another progressive event for the weekend. So there's going to be another boost for your shards. Most likely a progressive event, to be honest, but you never know. It could be maybe primal shards. That would be something. I think primal shards are definitely up for a proper 2x to come, but more than likely it's probably just going to be a generic progressive event again. But stay tuned for all that. We'll probably get some news on that for tomorrow. The other thing to consider is actually that we actually have a ongoing extra legendary event for sacred shards going on right now. So if you haven't pulled yet, because it was a 2-day event for the extra legendary Sacred Shard event. If you haven't pulled yet, now you have additional knowledge that, hey, we're going to be having a, Orcs Path event that's going to require shards. Do I pull for this extra legendary event? Now that's a question I have to do on my alt account. I have 30 something shards on that account. I most likely will pull for the extra legendary because I'm pretty high up in the, I'm into the Mercy, right? But it should leave me enough to get the Kro Khad 5-star soul. And then I'm probably going to be totally out of shards at that point, most likely, in terms of sacred shards. But yeah, some big decisions here this week, guys, and a lot of ways for Plarium to basically just zap us of resources. Keep in mind that we also probably have a fusion coming. Just looking at the calendar right here, there's not really much going on for the weekend. We know that there's going to be a Prism Crystal event happening as well, since there is a Spider tournament with special rules, and there's going to be a Prism Crystal up for grab in that event. So a lot going on and a lot of ways to basically allocate resources. And I would imagine the fusion would happen sometime next week. We should probably hear about it pretty soon. Maybe even as soon as Friday if it's going to happen on Monday, but I would probably guess that it happens sometime next Thursday for the upcoming fusion. It's crazy. So definitely it's all about prioritizing. If Shayak, if Kro Khad Soul, if Hydra performance is very important to you, then this is the event for you. And you're probably going to have to give up maybe, the next fusion for it, but that's a decision you have to make. And of course, with fusions, you never know if they're going to be good or not. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Sorry it's a little bit late today. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. What is your plan? Are you guys excited about going for the soul, about going for Packmaster? Are you guys even ready for that? Like I said, it's going to be a big energy sink for dungeon diving, or it's going to be a big shard sink. Let me know in the comments. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.